Testing 1, 2, 3. That's perfect. I'm just gonna do it. The Kybalion, chapter 8. Looks like it's right on me, so I'm gonna record it instead of erasing it just to see if it's right on me. I feel it's right. Sedela, Tesla, Trismegistus. Public domain here, doing the Kybalion outside because it's just so nice. Chapter 8 is principle, the planes of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. The Kybalion. The great second Hermetic principle embodies the truth that there is a harmony, agreement, and correspondence between the several planes of manifestation, life, and being. This truth is a truth because all that is included in the universe emanates from the same source, and the same laws, principle, and characteristics apply to each unit or combination of units of activity, as each manifests its own phenomena upon its own plane. For the purpose of convenience of thought and study, the Hermetic philosophy considers the universe may be divided into the great classes of phenomena known as the three great planes, namely, the great physical plane, 2, the great mental plane, 3, the great spiritual plane. These divisions are more or less artificial and arbitrary, for the truth is that all of the three divisions are but ascending degrees of the great scale of life, the lowest point of which is undifferentiated matter, and the highest point that of spirit. And moreover, the different planes shade into each other so that no hard fast division may be made between the higher phenomena of the physical and the lower of the mental, or between the higher of the mental and the lower of the physical. In short, the three great planes may be regarded as three great groups of degrees of life manifestation. While purpose of this little book do not allow us to enter into the extended discussion of or explanation of the subject of these different planes, still we think it well to give a general description of the same at this point. At the beginning we may as well consider the question so often asked by the neophyte. Who desires to be informed regarding the meaning of the word plane, which terms have been very freely used and very poorly explained in many recent works upon the subject of occultism? The question is generally about as follows. Is a plane a place, having dimensions, or is it merely a condition or state? We answer, no, not a condition, no, not a place, nor ordinary dimension of space, and yet more than a state or condition. It may be considered as a state or condition, and yet the state or condition is a degree of dimension, and a scale subject to measurement. Somewhat paradoxical, is it not? But let us examine the matter. A dimension, you know, is a measure in a straight line, referring to the measure, etc. The ordinary dimensions of space are length, breadth, and height, or perhaps length, breadth, height, thickness, or circumference. But there is another dimension of created things, or measure in a straight line, known to occultists and to scientists as well, although the latter have not yet applied the term dimension to it, and this new dimension, which, by the way, is much speculated about fourth dimension, is the standard used to determining the degrees or planes. This fourth dimension may be called the dimension of vibration. Is a fact well known to modern science, as well as to the Hermetists who have embodied the truth in their third Hermetic principle, that everything is motion, everything vibrates, nothing rests. From the highest manifestation to the lowest, everything and all things vibrate. Not only do they vibrate at different rates in motion, but as in different rates in motion, but as in different directions and in a different manner. The degrees of the rate of vibrations constitute the degrees of measurement of the scale of vibration. In other words, the degrees of the fourth dimension. And these degrees form what occultists call the planes. The higher the degree of rate of vibration, the higher the plane, and the higher the manifestation of life occupying that plane. So that while a plane is not a place, nor yet a state or condition, yet it possesses quality common to both. We shall have more to say regarding the subject of the scale of vibrations in the next lesson, in which we shall consider the Hermetic principle of vibration. You will kindly remember, however, that the three great planes are not actual divisions of the phenomena of the universe, but merely arbitrary terms used by the Hermetists in order to aid in thought and study of the various degrees and form of universal activity and life. The atom of matter, the unit of force, the mind of man, and the being archangel are all but degrees on one scale, and all fundamentally the same. The difference but solely a matter of degree and rate of vibration. All of these creatures of the all and have their existence solely within the infinite mind of the all. The Hermetists subdivides each of these great planes into 7 minor planes, and each of the latter are also subdivided into 7 subdivisions, all divisions being more or less arbitrary, shading into each other, and adapting merely for convenience of scientific study and thought. The great physical plane and the 7 minor planes is that divisions of the phenomena of the universe, which includes all that relates to physical and material things, forces, and manifestation, and includes all forms of that which we call matter, and all forms of that which we call energy or force. But you must remember that the Hermetic philosophy does not recognize matter as a thing itself, or as having a separate existence even in the mind of the all. The teaching are that matter is but a form of energy, that is, energy at a low rate of vibration of a certain kind, and according to the Hermetists classify matter under the head of energy and give it to the 3 of the 7 minor planes of the great physical plane. These seven minor physical planes are as follows. Pardon me. 1. The plane of matter A. 2. The plane of matter B. 3. The plane of matter C. 4. The ethereal substance. 5. The plane of energy. 6. The plane of energy B. 7. The plane of energy C. The plane of matter A comprises the forms of matter in its forms of solids, liquids, and gases, as generally recognized by the textbooks in physics. The plane of matter B comprises higher and more subtle forms of matter, of the existence of which modern science is but now recognizing the phenomena of radiant matter and its phases of radium, etc., belonging to the lower subdivisions of the minor plane. The plane of matter C comprises forms of the most subtle and tenuous matter, the existence of which is not suspected by ordinary scientists. The plane of ethereal substance comprises that which science speaks of as the ether, a substance of extremely tenuity and elasticity, pervading all universal space, and acting as a medium for the transmission of waves of energy, such as light, heat, electricity, etc. This ethereal substance forms a connecting link between the matter, so-called, and energy, and partakes of the nature of each. The Hermetic teachings, however, instruct that this plane has 7 subdivisions, as have all the minor planes, and that in fact there are 7 ethers instead of but 1. Next above the plane of ethereal substance covers the plane of energy A, which comprises the ordinary forms of energy known to science, its 7 subplanes being respectively heat, light, magnetism, electricity, and attraction, including gravitation, cohesion, chemical affinity, etc. The several other forms of energy indicated by scientific experiment but not as yet named or classified. The plane of energy B comprises 7 subplanes of higher forms of energy, not as yet discovered by science, but which have been called nature's final forces, and which have we called into operation these manifestations of certain forms of mental phenomena, and by which such phenomena becomes plausible. The plane of energy C comprises of 7 subplanes of energy, so highly organized that it bears many of the characteristics of life, but which is not recognized by the minds of men or in ordinary plane of development. being available for the use of the beings on the spiritual plane alone.